Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BPTV studios. This is live TV. Smoking Jim is out of the hospital. I won't describe how he barely made it to his seat, but that is true. And he's here, so Smoking Jim's here. I'm Al LeVeon, the talking machine. Chip Painter couldn't make it today. He's tied up at work. So we're going to go on with just me and Smoking Jim. I appreciate all of you watching our show. We're masked up, 6 feet social distancing. John O'Praskak's Three Rivers Stadium painting. Isn't that awesome there? He donated it during our shows, so we appreciate it. It cost us nothing, but we can promote him. He does painting of all kind of things. He's even in the NFL Hall of Fame. He even painted a painting of George Bush Sr., and he's done a lot of great things in the city of Pittsburgh, does a lot of great fundraisers, even helps in Bethel Park here. So great man, check him out. And thank you for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. And thank you for all the likes by watching our shows and liking our Facebook page. 6,879 likes. Thank you very much. This old dog learned a few new tricks. Please like our page if you haven't done so already. That's what I ask you. You all got these, what are they, smartphones? I can find out who's liking them. Not enough yet. We'll check it out. All right, I got some promos here. First up, we got Anthony in the control room. We got Caitlyn, our Special K, as Smoking Jim said, is here. She's on camera. And my first promo is, oh, look at that work that she did. Unbelievable. These interns are great at BPTV. This is Olive Oil's Pizzeria. They are open. They're at Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. Last Tuesday I called before the show because I heard a rumor they were closed. Talked to the owner, Frank. And he said, come on out, order what you want. Al, come and see me. So I've been busy, even during COVID, haven't seen him yet. Matter of fact, just interrupt, I need a shot. Look at the hair from Azazu and Marianne. Got that hair, profile left and right. Can't beat that. Was there today. She was telling me a story about a good friend that they have is Jim Frazier. They call him Fraz or something. So, and he's a white guy, Smoking Jim. I brought the color card out first.
With a Z or a S?
Z.
Really?
Yeah, they
That's
call him
only
like
the
Fraz.
second white guy I know with a Z.
Yeah.
Most white guys are Fraziers or S.
Yeah, I understand. And he counteracted with his race card. We've been doing this 9 years, folks. That's my best friend. I don't even know what color he is, but he'll tell you about me having spray tan. Oh, not this year. Not this year. All right, we'll go second promo. Sorry about that, Special K. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Poor Joey died 9 years old from a dreaded brain cancer, DIPG. We honor him with Stay Joey Strong at the end of our show. And it's the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. His family, instead of feeling sorry for themselves and losing 2 children like Joey and the younger sister they lost, they went out and started fundraisers. They have a special 5K 1-mile run every September. I don't know if they're doing it this month. I heard nothing on it. I'm assuming they're not, but I thought maybe they would. I'll have to find out some more information. It's usually the second week of September. Joey liked superhero costumes. People dress up and run and walk the 5K 1-mile run, and that's their biggest fundraising event. But go to their website, donate as little as $1, see if you can help out with time with different things they do. And they're great folks, and they're trying to find a cure for this dreaded brain cancer. Next up, another nonprofit, Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. Look at that framing right in the middle. It's a great shot, Kay. And they're at 2600 South Park Road. It's an old schoolhouse from 1905. They refurbished it, $150,000 roof, 50 windows, remodeled inside. They have businesses there, even a dance studio and different offices, a library, old uniforms from the World War I, World War II, and other wars. So check it out, 2600 South Park Road. I get my loose leaf green tea at Reginald's Coffee. They have fresh roasted coffee every day from 7 to 2, Saturday and Sunday from 8 to 2. And you can go there at their window and bring a chair and sit in the lawn. There's a nice grassy lawn in front, and you can enjoy your coffee or tea like me and go up there. That's Reginald's Coffee. Next up, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. Special K, see if you could pull that in. Look at that. That's my face on Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV. You can be an intern and a volunteer like Caitlyn here and Anthony. You could be like that, and Steve was here last week. We've had many come in here, and you're more than welcome to call 412-831-3304. Tell them Uncle Al, the talking machine, wants you to help BPTV. All right, one more little promo. Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you, $100 to $5,000. And they have money for your groups. Go to bpcf.org, get an application. I'm a trustee with 20-some other people on the board. When we have a meeting, you come in, plead your case. And if you're doing great things in Bethel Park, unlike smoking Jim Frazier and whatever he's doing, you can get money for your group and your people. That's a guarantee. We're going to cross the 1 million mark. I've been saying we have 975,000. We passed out over 25 years. Bethel Park Library just asked for another 25,000 grant, and we agreed to give them $25,000 from Bethel Park Community Foundation in the coming up event. And we're going to cross the $1 million mark in 25 years with giving out money in Bethel Park. It's quite an honor to be part of that group. Very special, very good. And just check them out, bpcf.org. Next up, we have a sponsor for What's on Your Mind, Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station, 6103 Route 88. I don't know, I'm going to test Caitlyn here on this. How about, can you pull up the card? I tried this last week. We'll see if she can focus that. Live TV, folks.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
Way to go. I like testing the rookies. I call the new people here rookies. This rookie just stepped up to the plate. Very good.
That's
very
awesome.
good. And that Skeets Service Station, it's a red, white, and blue station about 6 miles from here on Route 88. They do work on anything and everything that runs on gas. Guaranteed. They work on weed whackers, lawnmowers, hedge trimmers, cars, boats, trucks, you name it. They also work on electronic hedge trimmers, weed whackers, and etc. They even have a forge there. They even make drive shafts. So they do anything and everything on your vehicles. Check them out. 724-348-4715. Thanks, Caitlyn. Now we're going to go Smoking Jim Frazier. First of all, welcome back. And to all your fans and friends, including me, we don't know what's wrong with you. From the head up, I do. From below the neck, I do not. And I assume it was something not good because he showed me one arm with IVs in it, even in his wrist. And that was his right arm, so that wasn't a good sign there. And he won't tell you anything about it, but he's here alive and well. And he's probably still eating those Kentucky Fried buckets of chicken from KFC. What's on your mind? Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, LeVeon, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see LeVeon back in my high school quarterback auction days.
What year was that, by the way?
Nobody even goes to the library anymore. What they need $25,000 for? Couldn't you talk them down? If they said $25,000, they'd have settled for $5,000.
No. Let me explain. It's like the NFL.
Nobody even goes.
It's like the NFL Player Association. You get an offer from billionaires and you accept it because you can smoke marijuana. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry. The library wanted $200,000 and they got $25,000. They're one of the top libraries in the area.
Nobody goes
Right
there.
next to Carnegie Library in Oakland, they're behind them. They're number 2. So for somebody that's a writer, does not read books, to make a statement like that, I would challenge his veracity, and you have to look that up in the Funkin' Wagnalls to find out what it is. Do you have anything more to say?
Yeah, well, hey, sorry I missed last week.
Why did you?
One of my favorite nurses promised me a sponge bath, so I went in. It was so good, I may go back after the show tonight. Hell of being the talking machine.
Let me interrupt you.
Miracle hands.
Let me interrupt you. The way you walked into the studio, I recommend that I drive you to whatever hospital you won't tell me you're in tonight. I say you go back tonight. Because the sunglasses were out. Oh, you took them off. Okay. Let me look.
That walk, that's the brother stroll. You know,
No, it
know
isn't.
how we stroll, man. You was born on the Hill District. You know how the brothers step, man.
In 105 Pride Street, there is no brother that's healthy that walks like that. In other words, he has some mysterious health infirmity. Look that up in your Funkin' Wagnalls, too. Or dictionary, okay?
But hey, man.
Nice to be back.
I got to give it to, first of all, that's a great book, Douglas Kavanaugh. That's my man.
Let's do, Caitlyn, pull up on this. I want to do a special announcement since that is perfect. This is the Pittsburgh Boxing, A Pictorial History by Douglas Kavanaugh. I got to give a story.
Black and white pictures.
I'll try to flick it here. Trying to give you a flavor for it.
I can even read that one with all them pictures.
I was going to give it. This guy from Cali, he's from California. He's a surfer, and he's a boxing aficionado. We met him through Mike McSorley and different boxing events, and we became friends. And I got to share this story. A few years ago, I asked him to be on my show, and he goes, well, when I'm in town, if you're doing a show, I'll come on. We were at Atria's PNC Park, and he gave one of the best interviews I've had. And he talked about doing this book, and Smoking Jim will vouch for it. I can tell stories. Doug can tell stories. Smoking Jim, you all know the stories that he tells because he's an honest man. Nobody's more honest than him. But I digress. So I had him there. We probably had about 10 minutes in the interview, and I stunned him. I go, can you tell me another story? And he just paused. And he goes, well, what do you want to hear? I go, I want to hear more sports stories because I tell them, I listen to them, I enjoy it. And he goes, well, who? I go, give me a Rooney story. And he gave me a Rooney story. He gave me a couple other stories, all on air. And he was so happy with the interview, he used it as his profile picture with my smiling face and his, without mask then, of course. He had that on there for about a year, and I've seen him a couple times since. He said the book was coming out, and Smoking Jim, this is the 16th book that I've read during COVID. And I just finished it the other day. $32. It's well worth it for boxing history going back to the late 1800s up to Sammy Vasquez in the book.
I would pay that.
You wouldn't pay anything like that. You'd want to get it free. So I'm not even lending it to you because you're not going to insult my intelligence. You won't read it. You only look at the pictures. And they're on every page. Look at that. Every page.
I like that.
Oh, there was one, no, 2 pages it's not. But almost every
I
page.
would skip those pages.
Well, I know that. Let me give you how many, 196 pages. And there's a picture. We've got to test you again there, Caitlyn. This is what Doug looks like, so. There, sorry about that. I was going the wrong way. Perfect. That's Douglas Kavanaugh. He's a surfer. He helps handicapped surfers and kids and people.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, well, Smoking Jim rarely asks a question. He's usually telling a story or talking about beautiful sweeties. We digress. All right, what's on your mind?
Hey, I tell you what, I am so proud of the #1 sport in the world, the sport that runs everything, the National Football League. Man, I'm so proud of what they're doing with the virus, the flu. I'm so proud of everything.
What'd they do with the flu?
Nobody has it. They're playing. They're going to play games right now.
Smoking Jim, I got to do the disclaimer. He's not a medical guy. He doesn't believe in hospitals.
I'm Dr. J.
All he believes in is nurses, and we know why. We won't get into that. It's a family-friendly show. They didn't get rid of flu or anything like that. They're giving testing. They're doing testing of people. And believe it or not, some of the football players have had COVID.
Russia got the cure.
Yeah, but for another reason, you like dictators like your hero, and they do something that's unusual because you're an honest man. They lie, and they look you in the eye. This is not a political thing.
Herschel Walker said he's honest.
Well, my man, you didn't even know about a lot of the things. You didn't know what baseball was till I introduced you to it.
Even though I played it.
Even though you played. And as I go back, sorry fans, but we got to go back a little because all of you that have played sports with me over the years, all my Italian friends, Russos, DeMeos, Floriolis, Piccininis, you name it, Straticos, guess what? They were on my team.
I can't pronounce that.
He can't even tell you one person on his team, and he can't tell you who coached his baseball team.
I think there was a John on the team.
Was there a White Washington on the team?
No White Washingtons in the world.
Well, my issue is if you played any type of sports, and I'm not going to ask any of our volunteers that are here like Caitlyn and Anthony, if they played sports or if they went to school, and if you're in a classroom, can you tell me one kid in your classroom?
I forget.
So much for being honest. If you can't tell me who was on your team, and I'm not going about the Russian vaccine.
I was the only black on the team. Does that count? Does that narrow it down?
Smoking Jim, I can top you. I was the only Jewish kid on all of my teams,
Wow.
all through high school.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
There, that's a showstopper right there.
Someday you got to tell me about Bugsy.
About who?
Bugsy,
Bugsy.
the gangster.
Oh, okay.
I've been interested in him.
Just hit Wikipedia.
Okay.
Caitlyn, can you guide him on Wikipedia? Because I've been helping him for 9 years. And some of it, it's not sinking
about
in.
Bugsy. I wanted to see it.
He was even a boxer.
I didn't know that. I got to see the movie.
I'm trying to help you.
But hey, the NFL,
Yeah.
the NFL's doing.
They
it
didn't
right.
solve all the problems because you know COVID's going around. We set
I don't know that.
6 million cases of it. Well, you don't watch news. You watch 2 games every day.
Yeah.
And then whatever else nonsense that you do during the day that we can't find out.
Gunsmoke.
Okay, Gunsmoke, I watch that. How about Bonanza?
No.
Check out Bonanza because the Cartwrights, you'll like Little Joe and Haas. You'll like Haas because he's a real big,
I like
nice
Big
guy.
Valley. I like Big Valley.
Big Valley's
I used
good.
To watch that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
But right now, every night at 9 o'clock, if I'm home, I watch Gomer Pyle.
Oh, that's
I
a
love it.
classic.
Yeah.
I used to watch it growing up, so
Yeah.
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 I'm more advanced
Most of all
on
them
it.
people are dead. I was surprised. I looked it up.
Well, when the show's done 30 and 40 years ago, my friend.
Yeah, I was surprised. Even Gomer Pyle's dead.
Yeah.
But they look so young on TV.
Fans, I hate to try to explain it, but How about when you look at a movie in the 20s and 30s, and they looked like young people then, and it started to get around 80, 90s, 2000s, and they're dying. I'll share a story with you. You know, you like my stories.
I love them.
My dad's about 72 years old, okay? And it's Tuesday. He calls up. We talked almost every day. And he goes, "Hey, Alan, I got to go to another funeral." I go, "What happened?" He goes, "So-and-so," mentioned a name. And I go, "How long have you known him?" He goes, "Let me think, 50 years? No, 60 years. I go, "Dad, you know you're old." He goes, "What are you talking about?" I know a guy, and he died. I went Monday. I went today. That's 2 funerals. I got to go to 3 more funerals this week.
People die in 3s.
Well, that was 5. Again, Smoking Jim. Keep betting your money. Keep telling me the NFL and Putin's doing good, all right? Because that's how much I believe you. So my story is, I go, "Dad, you're alive, so you're in a bonus, and other people are dying, and guess what? Your friends are all old. You got young friends too." And he goes, "Well, I don't think of myself as old." And I go, "I understand that, you know, but you've been as old ever since I knew you. You never were young." And we had that discussion, and then the next week he had to go to a couple more funerals.
Wow.
And I just felt bad for him, and now I see different friends dying just recently.
Do you go to funerals?
Not since COVID, but I used to go to funerals to honor people.
That's what I want to start doing more of, going to funerals.
Well, I'm glad we got that covered on what's going on. So, continue your point, whatever it is.
No,
I tried to distract you so we could get some honesty here.
But lastly, as usual, you know I'm not a Pat Narduzzi fan. I think he was the most overrated defensive coordinator.
I second that emotion. I'm not a fan of his either.
Michigan State's head coach was actually the defensive coordinator. He came from Ohio State, where he was a great defensive coordinator.
Right.
And Pat Narduzzi, for Pitt to give him an extension, I thought it was wrong. Now,
you know he's only 7 games over 500?
And if you take out the bum teams that he plays,
he's under.
Division I AA
he's
teams,
under.
Yeah, he's under. And
I just thought I'd throw that in.
But one great year that they did have is they had the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive quarterback coach, who was the offensive coordinator at the time. They broke the Pitt record. I think they averaged like 40-some points a game. Canada, where Narduzzi came and blasted him this week, said he was overrated.
Canada.
Yeah, he said, you know,
That's one of the worst videos that I heard. I didn't see it, but I heard the video of it.
And then he backpedaled the next day and says, well, his words was taken out of context. You know, here's a guy, like I said, these guys, man, you know, Pitt is a stepping stone right now for greater programs. Who wouldn't go to LSU if they had an opportunity? That's a big-time program.
Well, he got a pay raise, too.
He got a pay raise, and for Pat Narduzzi, who the Steelers and Pitt shares offices with. Yeah. And to do that, you know, I think that, you know, this year Pitt has an opportunity. Then he blasted a couple of sports writers because they didn't have Pitt in the top 25 or top 20 this year. Yeah. Well, anytime you hear an interview with Pat Narduzzi and they asked him about, you know, the rankings, he says, that's for you guys to decide. I'm just worrying about beating Youngstown State or whoever.
So you would say he's not an honest man?
Not an honest man. And that year, that year with Canada, they ended up beating Penn State and Clemson. Yeah. No help to the defense. Right. They had to outscore them. And, you know, hey.
How can he say that?
Yeah, I mean, Pitt got a chance this year to do very, very well. And especially now that half the nation is not playing college football.
Well, actually, it's 67 out of 130 teams are playing. So it's a little over half.
That's pretty good.
67 are playing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
67.
Yeah, that ain't bad. And I know President Trump said the Big Ten should play, and I agree with President. Don't you? And that's what's on my mind.
I'd rather not talk about the politics because my man says he's an honest man. I won't say that he lies like Trump. I'll say he sounds like Trump. Oh, sorry, my friend.
We're both football guys.
He was a football guy in the USFL and failed at it and wanted to get a franchise in the NFL, and he's mad they didn't give him one.
They should have.
He didn't, he misrepresented his assets.
He got billions. How can you misrepresent that?
Because
if you're a million off here or there, who misses that when you're billions? When you got $9 billion.
Okay, what happens is he really did not. He never proved it.
He proved it to me.
Well, you don't even read. I rest my case. And I'm not picking on him. He's my best friend and he's sick. I'll take him to the hospital when we're done, I promise you, without the bucket of chicken. I'll take him. Are you done?
Yes, sir. That's what's on my mind.
I got to take a deep breath. Rarely am I lost for words, but that was one of your most outrageous little rants of what's on your mind. But for all of you deep thinkers out there, just think for 30 seconds what he said was on his mind. That is mind-blowing. From A to Z. Wow. What's on my mind is, again, I'm a sports guy, and politics I'd rather leave to the side because it's so divisive today, because I have friends that I respect their opinions and disagree with the statements in general in the country. And I was taught a long time ago, negotiating 7 multi-million-dollar contracts, that I couldn't be right all the time, that you had to make a compromise. So compromise, laws, contracts, etc., that's what life's about. When you're here and I'm there and nobody's in the middle, we're not together. There's an old saying that started back when we started democracy in 1776. United we stand, divided we fall. And even you know that.
I heard of that.
So what do you see today?
United.
He's a blind man. He had cataract surgery that he said was successful. He just proved it to me that he can't see anything out these windows. It's shocking. I didn't know we were doing a comedy show, a late night comedy show. This will be on the next 4 times after 11 o'clock at night, so it can be your little bedtime laughter. Wow, I can't even get into what's on my mind. He almost distracted me. But what I found shocking is, with the social injustice that's been going on, and we know it's been going on, my friend is a black man, so he is aware of some things. Like he said, he was only, what happened?
I was showing them so in case they didn't know.
Take the mask off, let him see that smiling face. I'm far enough away. I thought you lost your watch. Here. Mine's not working. So there's problems. But then I was shocked. Another black man got shot in the back, and I don't want to be judgmental on it because I'm pro-police. I believe we need police. Believe they need more money. Are there bad police? Yes. I had bad union members in my union. They were still in my union. I wasn't friends with them, believe it or not, and there were some bad people. And we all know good and bad people. And I say everybody knows good and bad. Some choose to be bad. So another black man was shot and paralyzed. Whether he's a good man or not, I don't know. But he was shot in the back 7 times. So now I'm hearing that there's going to be some protests, or they're going to have sports stoppages. I heard the Milwaukee Brewers weren't going to play. I heard the Milwaukee Bucks aren't going to play. Then I heard the NBA's not going to play. The soccer league's not going to play. The WNBA's not going to play. So I'm thinking they're ending their seasons, which I would have been in 100%, because it means they wouldn't get paid and they would prove that they're backing with their money what they're telling us to believe.
Good point.
And I was shocked because I think into this stuff. So in other words, it was not a strike like they were saying. I was involved in 3 strikes in my career. Guess what? We went on strike and we did not get paid. That's what happens when you do that. So if you truly are protesting and having a strike, end your season, end all sports, get the NFL, who are so about the money, because if you can get $9 billion a year, I mean, that's pretty good. So they're about the money, so they're going to play because it's not essential. It's a bully in the room. They want the money. So just end sports, have people and commissions and coalitions of people get together to try to reach a peaceful compromise on how you can help us move forward. That's what I was hoping would happen. Then I hear they just boycotted. They were rescheduling games, playoff games, etc. So what were they trying to do? That's what I want to know. And I shouldn't even be talking about politics during sports, but somehow, some way, it became part of our sports. And like Smoking Jim, our president even said we need sports because he believes that, because somehow he found out he said that. So I don't even know how he did it because he doesn't watch anything except Gunsmoke. So it's still a mystery to me. But sorry to get off on a tangent. We're trying to be entertaining here and provide information for you. And it gets a little crazy, as you can see, because look at how politics have interfered with us talking about straight up sports. And that's just the society we live in now. We'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. I can't wait to hear what he says.
Thanks, LeVeon, the talking machine. We got Special K in the house, and my main man Anthony on the ones and twos. But just to get back to what you were saying, LeVeon, the talking machine, football is an essential sport. This country needs, the world needs football. It's the only essential sport, and they're doing a great job because the National Football League, at least, is going to play the first couple of games. They may not have that many fans in attendance
Interruption.
by the end of the season.
Steelers announce no fans for their first two games.
That's okay.
First two games, but you know why? Because they're following the state guidelines.
Okay.
If the state doesn't change the guidelines, your prediction will go to the next month too.
Well,
and then the next month.
I've been watching a lot of TV.
Now the truth is coming.
My favorite sport, you know what my favorite sport is?
Korean baseball.
No, it's up there. It's in the top 10. But my favorite sport is professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And they have virtual fans in where you can cheer from home, you can see it. So somehow, some way,
the draft had that.
Huh?
The draft, the NFL
but
draft
they
had
can
it.
do it in the stadiums now. You can put 70,000 TVs in there and get virtual fans to come in. And you and I, Caitlyn, Anthony, and Chip will pay pay-per-view to watch our NFL football.
Smoking Jim, first of all, if NFL goes to pay-per-view, I will not be watching it anymore.
$5 a weekend, come on.
I'm not going to pay for it.
You can't go to a movie for $5.
You
can see all the games.
Movies. I see more movies than you do, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It's more than $5 though, isn't it?
I don't even pay for some of them.
You go to the movie theater and don't pay?
No.
Wow.
No, I don't go to the theater and don't pay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Here's what I'm telling you. If they don't have pay-per-view, you have 70,000 virtual people in there. What did they pay to be virtually in there? Nothing.
You don't know that.
I just told you what's happening.
Okay.
You're not dealing in reality. Okay. 1 + 1 = 2. NFL needs $1, and they'll make $1, and they'll get $2. They're not doing that.
Okay.
How are they making money off of you saying, I'm going to be cheering for my team on TV?
Well, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
And maybe Caitlyn can answer.
She's working.
How many people is in the United States?
Over 330 million.
330 million.
I didn't stutter.
That sounds like a lot to me.
What do you consider a lot? Do you know $1 million or do you know $250? Is 500 more than 250?
The most you can get in the NFL stadium in Heinz Field is 70,000.
Yeah.
So now you got 330 million people to draw pay-per-view. People that couldn't get season tickets, but they love their football.
Go back one step. You're a little bit naive because
they can use their stimulus check.
Right now in Pittsburgh, do you think 100% of people watch the Steeler games?
Over 100%.
This is where you're wrong. I found out between 5 and 10% of people.
You read too much, man. You're reading into this too much.
Let me explain it. I've talked to other men and women that are not Steeler fans, and I go, I'll bet you shop on Sundays, go to the theater, go to the symphony, and they go, how do you know that? I go, because that's the activities you're doing, because the knuckleheads like us watching sports and smoking Jim, we're at the games or watching the games.
Guess what they're doing?
They're not.
Taping it. They're taping it.
No, they're not.
Everybody watch the Steelers. Don't you watch the Steelers special, Casey? Everybody watches the Steelers.
She shook her head. You could not hear it, but I could see it with my right eye as I was looking at my man who had cataract surgery and put the sunglasses on because obviously the surgery was not successful. I rest my case. And your point of this is what?
But my fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac is rest in peace to a great man, John Thompson, former coach at Georgetown. Most people really don't know. Now, he should have won more national championships than he did. They only won one. But I tell you what, man, what he did, Georgetown is actually a CMU. It's a very prestigious, highly academic school. And he was taking these inner city kids, basketball players with marginal academic backgrounds.
And what did he do?
He brought them in. He made them study.
He made them graduate.
Made them graduate, all but one.
Right.
Stayed there the entire time, and that was the one that got out of jail, Iverson.
Yeah, and that happens.
And Iverson was actually probably one of the top 10 greatest high school football players of all time. But when he went to jail, all the Division I football teams backed off.
But he didn't have size. His size wasn't that big.
Well, there's a lot of guys that didn't have size, but he had the moves, man.
Did he?
On the football field.
I never heard that.
Oh, my goodness. Great.
You see him on tape.
Newport News, baby.
Yeah.
Newport News. But when he was in jail, the only one that came to visit him was John Thompson. So he decided to play basketball, played 2 years, the rest is history. But all those guys, man, they had to really be, now he got them tutors and stuff like that.
You would know about that.
Well, I don't know too much about it because we did have study hall.
Well, you know about academics. Somehow you know about academics, even though you never took a test that you wanted to.
Well, I went
Who
to
took
sleep.
those tests for you?
Well, I fell asleep on my SATs.
Like your president.
Yeah, I fell asleep on my SATs.
Somebody took it for you.
And I didn't want to do study hall, so I took all night classes, which went from 6 to 9, and we had a break at 7:10, and I never would go back. So
you were there 1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour. Sign in. But anyhow, man, what he did really to take these kids from the inner city, and that just goes to prove if you're a great coach, you know what I mean? He probably wouldn't have been able to be successful in football or baseball or something like that. But basketball, he spoke their language. He was able to get these guys to come in.
Plus, he was 6'8".
He was 6'8", and he could coach these guys. He had a reputation to be a big man's coach.
Yeah.
So the big guys came in.
How'd that Ewing do?
Ewing, Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah.
You know, Matombo. You know about black folks. He's from Africa.
Yeah.
Matombo. He owns. You know, he's rich now in Africa. He owns everything in Africa.
Well, he made some money here.
Yeah, he made some money here. His son is not as good. But, you know, to get these guys to come in, and they could leave and go to the NBA and make millions, but they stayed there because they wanted to be Hoyas. A small school like that, that's like doing it at CMU. That's like taking CMU and making CMU be better than UCLA and UNLV in North Carolina. So he did a great job.
Well, I saw a stat. He took over. They were 3-23 the year before. He took over.
Wow, I believe it.
How about that? I saw that stat, and I wanted to bring it out. So thank you for bringing that up.
And he did a great job. They might want to test the DNA of his son because the son can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag, and he keeps getting opportunities. But
well, Smoking Jim, I'll explain something. Half of each parent is the DNA of that person. So maybe the dominant half was his mother's side, not the father's side.
He's a mama's boy?
Well, I'm just saying, you told me you're a mama's boy when I met
Yeah,
you.
I love my mama.
And you're only smoking Jim Frazier for a few seconds a day. In this case, a few minutes a day. In this case, 15 minutes too long on that opening.
But may he rest in peace, John Thompson. What a great career. And look at all the young men that got their degree from a school like Georgetown. That's incredible to me. To win at Georgetown is really, mind-boggling.
That is true.
And that's the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Great John Thompson.
And there was both in there, folks. He covered both aspects there perfectly, like he usually did. That's
Matumbo!
I know who he is.
He could block some shots, couldn't he?
Yes, he did. I watched a lot of basketball with my dad back in those days.
Yeah. Even Georgetown?
Big East.
Big East was would have had the TV contract back then.
Right.
So every Monday, Big East, man.
We saw football. Definitely. You would have liked my dad. It's a shame.
Man.
And we watched the basketball.
I seen a picture of him when he was in the military, man. He looked great, man.
Yeah. Well, he was 19 years old then.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. See, we get older. I wasn't always this old, you know? And I know nobody knows you're not even aging.
Wow.
He's the ageless wonder. Yeah, I'm old now. My hair was darker than your bandana.
Good black don't crack. That's what I always heard. Good black don't crack.
Oh, really? I thought you said on crack. There, he's getting political there. I don't want to get into that. All right. Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier. On location, guess what? I got a call today. I'm on the road in between getting my hair cut, and my son had an eye doctor appointment. I get a call from Master Zhang of Taekwondo in Wexford. He goes, "Hey, Al, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you sooner, but I'm still working on getting the show." I said, "Master Zhang, I gave you till October to get the show together. How's it going?" Well, he said some places are locked down, so the athletes can't come and travel to Pennsylvania and things like that, but he has a few possibilities. He's looking at putting up some great exhibitions, and he's excited about the second or third week of October. He's going to try to get some people from other states to come in. He's going to have his students do some exhibitions too. He may even have somebody with a sword doing some sword fighting or displaying. Wow. So he goes, "Wouldn't that be exciting?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Would you put it on?" I go, "You bring me whatever you have, we'll put it on." And I said, "Smoking Jim will be the guy that stands there, unlike me, while you're breaking boards over heads." So he laughed and he goes, "Well, we'll have some fun." He goes, "I'll get back to you." So that's what we got going on there, possible on location there. You know, I'm looking into doing some other things because with the We 21, they had their event on the 22nd. You missed it. They did have it on the 22nd at I think it was a VFW in Homewood on Draper Street.
They do gumbo in Homewood? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I see a lot of barbecue in Homewood.
The Afro-American Musical Institute, they're in Homewood. You're supposed to know something about black folks. Something.
I get my ribs in Homewood, man.
Okay, then you know Homewood. Okay, that's good. I've gotten some there too. But that's all we have for On Location. We're going to come back. Anthony made some new commercials for us and new promos. Steeler talk. Thank you very much with the coordination from the control room, and thanks for not changing that dial. We have about 12 minutes to go. Smoking Jim, where did the time go?
I know.
And we got Steeler talk. I got an NFL scout who's going to come right out of his chair and tell us all about the Steelers right now.
Well, I tell you, Al, LeVeon, the talking machine, a little disappointed in my Pittsburgh Steelers.
Why?
Because I think this is the year, this is their best opportunity to maybe go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. You got Big Ben coming back, supposedly healthy. But more importantly, you got the best defense they had probably since the 70s. All these guys are young, they're hungry. And I tell you what, somebody nobody's mentioning is Ulysses Gilbert III. Now, that's a black man with a name like that. But
Are you serious? I never knew that.
He's in his second year, and I tell you what, he's one of the best middle linebackers I ever scouted coming out of Akron. He's a playmaker. The only thing Devin Bush did that I liked when he played at Michigan, I didn't like him running around blocks and disappearing and jumping on top of the pile, getting credit for tackles. But the one thing that he did do well was he was an outstanding blitzer coming from the middle linebacker position.
Okay.
So now if you got Ulysses Gilbert III playing alongside of him, making tackles from sideline to sideline, you can turn Devin Bush loose to cherry pick on some sacks to help the Pittsburgh.
Well, do you think the sophomore jinx will affect him, or can he ignore it?
He wasn't no good as a rookie, in my opinion. He stunk as a rookie, so he can't get no worse. He's still looking at he ain't hit nobody yet.
I just have to give you a couple facts. He had the most tackles on the team, 109. And you just said
Name one memorable one. Name one memorable one.
I'm asking a question. I expect an answer. If you're going to ask me questions, that's not what I'm trying to point out. You said we had the best defense in years. He was the leading tackler. Now let me explain that to you folks. Smoking Jim said that was the best defense he's seen in years. He was the best tackler. Now, what did I just say that he's disrespecting, that he didn't even have a good year?
In my opinion. I'd have benched him.
And that's good with your opinion, but I'm going by your statement. You admit that you said that. Best Steeler defense in years.
Yeah, they carried him.
And he was the best tackler on the team.
So according to statistics, this is how you.
What do you judge it by?
Tell me this.
The eye test.
You remember Kendrick Bell's rookie year?
Yes.
He blew people up. You can name play after play.
Then a high ankle sprain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I measure when people uncoil on somebody. I believe my middle linebackers like Jack Lambert explode on people. Chad Brown was finesse, but he was outstanding. You couldn't stop him. He was an unbelievable ball player.
He liked sushi.
You just name it, LeVeon Kirkland.
What about Andy Russell?
Andy Russell was outside
Jack
linebacker.
Ham.
Was great. They were great outside linebackers. I'm just talking about middle linebackers.
I try to do what you do, take you off the main subject.
Yeah. Your middle linebacker is supposed to make most of the tackles, especially when your other middle linebackers that was alternating or sitting on the bench.
So, in other words, to decipher what the scout's saying, he did what he's supposed to do in the best defense.
Anybody could have done that.
In the best defense, he made the most tackles because that's how it's set up.
And he didn't have one big hit.
Okay.
And he gave up touchdowns to tight ends. At 5'11", he can't cover tight ends. He can't cover backs out of the backfield.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's very
How
limited.
did Troy do it at 5'8"?
Because Troy's a freak of nature.
Thank you.
Freak of nature. Comes around every once in a million.
And nobody's replaced Troy yet, so the Steelers are still rebuilding.
Well, nobody replaced Troy because the only person that the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted in their secondary is another bus, Edmonds, and he's playing Troy's position, but they did trade for Minka Fitzpatrick, a black man with a white name, and he's the best in the league. They got two cornerbacks that they traded for.
Excuse me, I have a question. You said he's a black man with a white name.
Irish name.
I don't know what white person has Minka for the first name.
My cousin's name Elizabeth. We used to shame my aunt for naming.
No, let me explain something to you. In the early 1900s, men were called Elizabeth.
Huh?
Did I stutter? Can somebody go back on the tape? I didn't stutter. I said names have changed. Men went by Elizabeth.
I didn't know that.
Look at even one of the most famous actors in history.
Elizabeth Taylor? That's a woman. Beautiful.
I'm not talking Elizabeth right now. I'm talking about a man named John Wayne.
Yeah, that's
His
a man.
first name was Marion.
Really?
Yes. Look it up in Wikipedia or Google it.
Wow.
My goodness.
Wow.
What do they teach them at Gateway? I'm putting these books down. let's just talk what Smoking Jim's talking about.
I call my cousin Elizabeth Shanika, so she have her heritage. We give her a nickname.
Smoking Jim, I can't even wrap my mind around that. Why you would even call her Shanika?
That way they
Can
know
I
she's
ask you
black.
what you base it on?
Huh?
What do you base it on? Elizabeth Shanika. I mean, how's that even tie together?
Well, it's a nickname so that people know she's black.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay.
If you say Elizabeth, everybody thinks she's white, and then she shows up being black, and that's like
well, wouldn't they see
false
her?
advertising.
No, but wouldn't they see her and
Not
say,
on the phone.
okay, but how about if you see her sometime?
And her name is Elizabeth White. If that
Wow.
it don't get no whiter than that, brother. A lot of people disappointed when she shows up. Come on, man.
We got 5 minutes to go, and I lost some brain cells on that one for 3 minutes.
But I think the Steelers, their biggest hole, I think, is they got a lot of brittle brothers on offense.
What about Fournette, if they get Fournette?
Leonard Fournette would be outstanding. He's a free agent right now. You don't even got to pay him the $4 million, although I think he's worth it. But hey,
But
man,
he gets hurt, too, because he's brittle.
he gets hurt. He's a brittle brother, but very productive. He's a monster.
What if you put one brittle brother in first, let him get hurt, then
Yeah.
put the second brittle brother in?
Yeah.
He gets hurt, then the other guy's revived, and you put him in.
That's how you do it.
How about that for
the
a plan?
Steelers always had two running backs like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think the offensive line is in shambles a little bit right now.
Who's their coach?
a bum, a coffee boy?
How's he
is their
do
coach.
on the coffee front?
Yeah, well, he can still bring coffee and donuts. About all he's good for. But I tell you what, defensively,
Yeah.
they got a defensive coach that's a genius named Terrell Austin. Used to play at Pitt, bounced around the National Football League in college. This is a guy that's a genius. He's putting everything together defensively.
Hold it.
although
Who's the
Butler's
defensive coordinator?
Butler's getting the credit, but it's Terrell Austin
Thank
that's
you.
doing all
How
the
come
work.
he always gets the credit? Tomlin's been running the defense the last few years, and Butler gets all the credit for that.
Well, Coach Tomlin, who's a very good friend of mine, he talks the talk but don't walk the walk. He was defensive coordinator 1 year in his life, and the defense was mediocre.
I had some people do some research on Tomlin for
Okay.
you, because I told them about how you told me that his son was going to Maryland.
Yeah, never made an All-Star team.
And then how did that happen? And then you mentioned that we drafted two, not one, two picks from Maryland. Listen to this. They created a special board to try to get Maryland players in the NFL. Tomlin's on it. There's a coach that coached basketball, a lady basketball coach, and then two other guys, I forget their names, and they were in the NFL. They're on this committee to help Maryland get football players in the NFL.
Really?
So Tomlin is part of trying to do that. So
Nepotism at its finest.
yeah, that's what I'm telling you. You figured that out.
But here-
Caitlyn, how did he get an N-word out of the dictionary? Nepotism. It's
But-
a shocker.
But here's
Sorry
something.
to use
Here's
you.
something nobody did tell you. You can keep this in.
Okay,
as
but
a
I'm
feather-
telling you the truth.
as a
There is
feather
a
in your-
committee,
I
an
believe it.
official committee
I believe it.
that they showed me that, and they said, bring it up to Smoking Jim.
I believe
And I
it.
go, he'll be totally against it because he predicted this was wrong.
Yeah, I predicted.
And nepotism's not legal in the country.
But I tell you what, something that a lot of people don't know, one of the great football players at Maryland was Eddie Tomlin, Mike Tomlin's older brother, wide receiver.
No way.
Yeah, and Maryland took one look at Coach Tomlin and said, go to William and Mary. But Tomlin was great. He was great. He was great.
Wasn't he a receiver?
Yeah, he
How did he
was
become a defensive genius? I still don't figure that
Well,
out.
because he's not. He's not. He got a lot to be thankful
Hold
of
it.
affirmative
I'm
action.
trying to
He's
add up.
affirmative action.
Hold it,
genius.
wait. I'm trying to think of now affirmative action. Unbelievable. First of all, you're friends with Tomlin, disagree with how he
Good friends.
coaches.
Good friends.
Good friends with him, and you disagree that he knows defense.
Yeah. Got a pretty wife though. Woo. Oh my goodness.
Kia.
Yeah, Kia, beautiful man.
Unbelievable. Her
Yeah.
name's okay? You don't have a nickname for her?
Huh?
You don't have a nickname for her?
No,
Okay.
I don't want this.
I'm just trying to check. I'm just trying to verify the facts, people. But I'm confused that your best friend is not a good coach, not a good defensive coach,
True.
and he has nepotism getting his son to Maryland
Who
to
never made an
follow
All-Star
in his
team.
older brother's footsteps,
Yeah.
even though he never won awards here.
Right.
How did he get a scholarship?
Because Coach Tom is a head coach of the National Football League team.
And on the committee that's now trying to get Maryland football players in the NFL.
Yeah. And Maryland never been the same academically because guess who was supposed to go to Maryland back in the day?
Who?
Moses Malone.
No.
But he went from high school to the NBA.
NBA.
Had he went to Maryland, they'd have won the national championship with Moses. Thou shalt not score.
Wow. Unbelievable what we've learned tonight. I hope it was entertaining, folks. This is Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Smoking Jim Frazier. Thanks to Caitlyn, or Special K, and Anthony, who's doing the ones and twos. I don't know what else I can say to top this show, but we'll be back next week. Hopefully Chip will be with us. And football's supposed to start, the essential sport, according to Smoking Jim, on the 14th. And it's supposed to be in New Jersey with the Giants. So we'll see what happens. Please stay Joey strong.